Unit 8, Video 4, and this is going to be the homework, pages 13, 14, and 15, parts 3 and 4. Coefficients that will balance this chemical equation. We have 1 copper, 2 oxygen, but over here we have 1 oxygen plus 2 oxygen, which makes 3 versus 2 over here. So to fix it, I'm going to put a 2 there, which is now going to give me 2 plus 2 is 4 oxygens on the right, and so over here I can put a 2 there because 2 times 2 would be 4 oxygens on the left. Notice that my coppers were fixed in the process, so my coefficients are 2, 2, 1, which is going to be letter C. This one is a special one that's actually a little bit challenging. So we started off difficult, but hopefully it'll get easier as we go forward. Okay, number 2, 1 magnesium, good. Here I have 2 times 1 is 2 oxygens, plus another 2 here is a total of 4 oxygens on the left-hand side. And over here I have 1 plus 3, total of 4. So my oxygens are good on both sides. Hydrogen. 2 times 1 is 2 hydrogens on the left, 2 hydrogens on the right, so that's good. Here we have 1 sulfur, and we already balanced the oxygens, so this is good with everything having a coefficient of 1, so the answer is letter D. Number 3, we're going to do some bundling here. I'm going to bundle this, and that's acetate, and I'm going to bundle this, that's phosphate. Notice there's only 1 phosphate while there's 2 acetates. Over here, I'm going to bundle those. There's 2 phosphates there, and then I'm going to bundle these, and notice we have only 1 acetate there. So we have 1 calcium, 3 calcium. So to fix that, I need a 3 here. This is 2 times 3 is 6 acetates. And there's only 1 acetate there, so I'm going to put a 6 here. 2 times 3 is 6. 1 times 6 is 6. Okay, next is potassium. We have 3 versus 6. So I'm going to have to put a 2 there because 2 times 3 will give me 6 potassiums to match those 6. And finally, it's 1 times 2 is 2 phosphates. And look here, we have 2 phosphates. And so this is done. It's 3, 2, 1, 6. Number 4, which chemical equation supports the law of conservation of mass? 2 times 2 is 4 hydrogen, 2 hydrogen. It's not letter A. 1 zinc, 1 zinc, 1 hydrogen, 2 hydrogen. It's not letter B. 4 aluminum, 1 aluminum. That's out. Must be letter D. 1 carbon, 1 carbon. 4 hydrogens, 2 times 2 is 4 hydrogens. 2 times 2 is 4 oxygen, and here we have 2 plus 2 equals 4 oxygens on the right, so letter D is going to be the correct answer. For part 4, we have 8 sulfur versus 1 sulfur, so I'm going to fix it with an 8. And now we have 2 oxygen, 8 times 2 is 16, so if I have an 8 here, now I have 8 times 2 is 16 oxygens on both sides, and 8 sulfur, so we're going to put a 1 there, and that one's finished. Number 2, we can do some bundling. We can bundle these with one another and these. And then on the right side, there's my hydroxide and there's my sulfate. Notice I have 3 sulfate, 2 hydroxide, 3 hydroxide, and 1 sulfate on the right side. So here we go. 2 aluminum, 1 aluminum, puts a 2 there. 3 sulfate versus 1 sulfate. So I'm going to put a 3 here, and now that's going to be 1 times 3 is 3 to match that 3. Aluminum, check. Sulfate, check. 1 calcium, 3 calciums. So I need 3 calciums on the left-hand side. And finally, 2 times 3 is 6 hydroxide. And look, 3 times 2, 6 hydroxide. So this is balanced with a 1, 3, 2, 3 ratio. Let's look at number 3. We have 1 silver versus 2 of them, so I'll put a 2 there. 8 sulfur, 1 sulfur. So I need an 8 here, and now that gives me 8 sulfurs to match those, but I have modified my silver. Now I have 2 times 8 is 16 silvers, So instead of this being a 2, it needs to be a 16 so that I have 16 silvers to match these 16 silvers on the right-hand side. Okay, we have 1 chromium versus 2 chromiums, so I'm going to put a 2 there. We have 2 oxygen versus 3 oxygen. So best common factor of that is 6. So I want to do this. 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 3 is 6. Now my oxygens are good, but look, I've modified chromium. 2 times 2 is now 4 on the right. So instead of this being a 2, I need it to be a 4. Here, I'm going to have 1 aluminum on the left, 1 on the right. Check. 3 fluorines on the left, 2 fluorines on the right. So let's make them equal to 6. So we're going to have a 2 here because 2 times 3 is 6, and a 3 here because 3 times 2 is 6. This has modified my aluminum, which I had already balanced, so let me go back and fix it. I have 2 aluminum on the left, so now I need 2 aluminums on the right. So aluminums check, fluorines check. Mercury, I have 1 on the left, 3 on the right. So I'm going to put a 3 here. And now 3 times 2 is 6 chlorine. And then 3 times 2, we already have 6 chlorine. So this is 2, 3, 2, 3. Let's look at number 6. We are going to do a bundling of the hydroxide and the phosphate. Over here is our phosphate. And we don't have a hydroxide here, but we're going to change H2O to be HOH. And now we can bundle that hydroxide. So 1 calcium, 3 calcium, puts a 3 here. 2 times 3, 6 hydroxides. So I need a 6 here. That's going to give me 6 of both of those. 3 hydrogen, 6 hydrogens. So we need this. 2 times 3 is 6. And then 2 phosphate, 2 phosphate. So this is now balanced, 3, 2, 1, 6. Number 7, let's do some bundling of nitrate. There's only 1 there. Phosphate, there's only 1 there. Phosphate, only 1 there. And nitrate, only 1 there. So 1 silver, 3 silver. Puts a 3 here. 3 times 1 is 3 nitrates. Only 1 nitrate, so I need a 3 here. Silver, good. Nitrates, good. Next, potassium. 3 on the left, 3 on the right. So that's good. And then finally, we have 1 phosphate, 1 phosphate. So this is finished with a 3:1:1:3 ratio. Last one. We're going to bundle the SO4 and this SO4. We have 1 iron, 2 irons. So that's going to put a 2 here. 2 times 3 is 6 bromine, so there's only 1 bromine there, so I'm going to put a 6. Now, iron's good, bromine's good. 2 hydrogens, 6 hydrogens, so I need a 3 because 3 times 2 will be 6. Finally, we have 3 times 1 is 3 sulfates, and look here, we have 3 sulfates, so we are finished. Put a 1 there, it's 2, 3, 1, 6.